Ammo prices have climbed harder than a cat on meth. And if you've been trying to stock up for self-defense, your wallet's probably been crying for help. The idea that reliable hollow point ammo has to cost over $1 per round has been repeated so many times. People start believing it. But that's just noise. Buried beneath the marketing hype and tactical branding are a few rounds that are both affordable and proven in real-world ballistic testing. This video is your shortcut through all the forum noise, overpriced boutique loads, and flashy gimmicks. By the end of this list, you'll know 5 specific defense rounds that don't just look good in the box, but actually meet key FBI standards for penetration and expansion, all without breaking your budget. Whether you carry every day or keep a home defense setup ready, this guide will save you money, time, and possibly your life. Let's get into it. Federal's punchline didn't roll out with a SWAT team behind it or a $1 million marketing stunt. It came out quietly, in that deep blue box with silver lettering. And it said one thing loud and clear. This round is for personal defense, not law enforcement. That's a bold decision, and I respect it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Unlike the high-dollar federal HST that gets issued to cops and agents, the Punch 124 GR was tuned specifically for civilian use. The engineers skipped the barrier penetration priorities and instead focused on performance through clothing and soft tissue, which is exactly what you want in a real-world home invasion or concealed carry scenario. It regularly hits 13 to 15 inches of penetration in 10% ballistic gel with consistent expansion. In tests through 4 layers of denim, it still manages full penetration with petals opening wide and staying intact, which is a key detail most budget JHPs fail to deliver. It may not mushroom like an art project, but it gets the job done, efficiently and predictably. Lucky Gunner's gel test showed excellent balance between expansion and depth. This is not a boutique load. It's a damn reliable round made for people who care more about performance than polish. The price? Around 50 to 70 cents per round, depending on where you shop. That's cheaper than Critical Defense or Gold Dot, and you don't need to buy a case of 500 to get that price. It's available at major retailers and online without the LEO markup. But the proof's not just in the gel. Real users trust it. One Redditor on RCCW wrote, "Federal Punch works just as good as HST in terms of penetration and expansion without a barrier. 14 inches, pretty good penetration." Another shooter on R Ammo said, "They run well in my 365XL and X Compact," confirming reliability even in micro-compact carry guns. That kind of user-backed validation matters more than any glossy promo video. When people who carry every day say it runs clean and hits hard, that sticks with me. So if you want something built for the real world, by people who understand it, Federal Punch isn't just cheap and works. It was designed to be that way. And it delivers. Let's move on to something even cheaper. It might not look tactical, but it damn well works when it counts. Blazer Brass is the ramen noodle of the ammo world. Dirt cheap, everywhere, and somehow always in your range bag. But here's the kicker. They make a JHP version, and it's actually not bad. Yeah, that surprised me too. Most people think of Blazer Brass as range ammo. You know, the kind you dump into a mag just to ping steel or blow holes in paper. But their 115 BGR jacketed hollow point load offers more than just economy. It actually performs to FBI standards in ballistic gel. We're talking around 12 inches of penetration, with controlled expansion in clear gel tests. It doesn't overperform, and it doesn't pretend to. But what it does is deliver basic hollow point function reliably and affordably, which is exactly what you need if you're buying on a budget. In one gel test by an independent reviewer on YouTube, the round expanded to just over 48 inches and stopped right at 12.2 inches. Barely textbook, but it made the cut. But numbers only tell part of the story. What really makes this round stand out is what real shooters say about it. One user on R Ammunition wrote, "I definitely recommend Blazer Brass to a lot of shooters. It's reliable, accurate, and pretty easy to find." Over on R Guns, another shooter said, "It's probably my favorite ammo. Light recoil and reliability make it my go-to for USPSA." Sure, they were talking about FMJ, but that same reliability applies to the JHP version because the case, primer, and powder are nearly identical, And let's not forget the price. You can find these for as low as 0.35 to 0.55 per round, which is absurdly low for self-defense ammo. You can walk into a Walmart or local shop and grab a couple boxes without needing to pawn your truck. It's not the prettiest. The expansion isn't going to win any beauty contests, but it cycles well, punches through soft targets, and gives you an option when your wallet is on life support. In a real confrontation, that's worth more than all the chrome nickel plus P plus stuff in the world. So, the next time you see Blazer Brass JHP on the shelf, don't laugh. That little budget round might be the only thing standing between you and a very bad day. There's something almost suspicious about ammo that comes in green boxes, costs less than a cheeseburger, and claims to be for self-defense. That was my first reaction to Sellier Bellot's 115 GR JHP, imported from the Czech Republic, wrapped in no-frills cardboard, and usually parked on the bottom shelf. This stuff doesn't exactly scream premium, but that's what makes it so damn interesting. I've seen this round show up at gun shows, on dusty shelves, and buried deep in online listings, almost always at a great price. We're talking 0.38 to 0.65 per round, depending on how and where you buy. That's already worth a second glance. And when it gets tested, things get even more interesting. In multiple gel tests, including YouTube reviews and independent trials, S&B 115 GR JHP manages to penetrate around 13.5 inches and shows surprisingly uniform expansion for its class. It's not flashy. It doesn't brag on the box. But in terms of terminal performance, it quietly holds its ground. Some say the jackets are a little thin. Others note that the hollow cavity isn't as deep as Hornady's XTP or Federal's Punch. That's fair. But if we're talking real-world scenarios, across denim, t-shirts, and light jackets, this round still performs consistently within FBI recommendations, and people trust it. A user on Smith & Wesson forum wrote, "For the money, the product isn't all that terrible. Expansion is acceptable and uniform." On Indiana Gun Owners, another said, "I am confident enough of S&B that I do carry S&B hollow points in one of my defensive handguns. You don't throw your life on the line for a brand unless you've seen it do its job." Also worth noting, the feeding profile on S&B JHP is extremely FMJ-like. If your carry gun likes their ball ammo, odds are it'll run their JHP just as smoothly. Many owners of CZ, Glock, and even budget Taurus G3 pistols report no feed ramp hangups with this round, which speaks volumes about how well it was engineered for broad compatibility. That level of cross-platform reliability makes it a solid choice for budget-conscious carriers who want to train and defend with the same brand, without having to worry about feeding issues or point-of-impact shifts. In the end, Sellier Bellot 115 BZHGAR JHP is like that quiet guy in the back of the bar who doesn't say much but can break your jaw if needed. Underestimated? Absolutely. Ineffective? Not even close. Next, we're shifting gears to something American-made and old-school reliable, the humble but hard-hitting white box. Some ammo walks into the room like a tuxedoed operator with a tactical beard. Winchester White Box? It rolls up in steel-toed boots, chewing gum, and carrying a lunchbox. It's plain, boring, and often overlooked, but you'd be dead wrong to dismiss it. This 147-grain subsonic hollow point doesn't have fancy packaging or designer branding. It doesn't need it. What it does have is one of the longest-running reputations for being dependable, both on the range and in real-world defense. While brands like Hornady and Speer chase perfection with polished bullets and flashy claims, White Box sticks to the formula, and the formula works. Multiple gel tests show penetration between 14 and 16 inches. Well, within FBI specs. Expansion is moderate, not dramatic. Jacket separation can occur in some cases, but the wound channels remain wide enough to stop a threat. It won't win the prettiest mushroom award, but it hits like a freight train, especially from full-size pistols like the Glock 17 or M&P 9. Let's talk about money. You can usually find this load between 0.45 and 0.65 per round. And if you shop smart, gun shows, bulk deals, even Academy on a good day, you can load your mags for half what Gold Dot would cost. That matters when you want to stock multiple mags or practice with your carry load. The community knows its value. While exact quotes on this JHP load are harder to find, White Box's reputation is all over R ammo and RCA guns. One post reads, WWB is ugly but reliable. I trust it for training and carrying when I can't find my preferred stuff. It's the go-to fallback for thousands of shooters when boutique ammo dries up or goes out of stock. And here's the kicker. Because it's subsonic, this round also pairs perfectly with suppressed pistols, making it a solid dual-purpose choice. Train, carry, suppress. White Box handles all of it with the kind of blue-collar consistency that gets overlooked in the age of Instagram gun porn. It may lack bonded cores or nickel plating, but when shot from full-length barrels, the round often expands to over 50 inches with stable penetration that gets the job done. No, it's not cutting edge, but when you want ammo that feeds, fires, and finishes the job without draining your savings, White Box 104.7 CZR JHP deserves serious respect. At first glance, Fiocchi Defense Dynamics looks like the kind of ammo you'd expect to find next to the checkout counter at a gas station. Cheap, foreign, and probably loaded by someone named Lorenzo in a basement. But don't let the box or the price fool you. This little Italian number has more bite than people give it credit for. Clocking in at around 0.45 to 0.65 per round, it fits the budget like a glove. You can usually get a 50-round box for under $30, which is almost unheard of in the hollow point market today. Most brands charge that much for 20. From the moment you pick up a box, Fiocchi sets expectations low and then proceeds to shatter them. In independent gel tests, this round penetrates roughly 13 to 14 inches, landing solidly within FBI recommendations. Expansion varies slightly, depending on barrel length. But from compact pistols like the G3C or Ruger Max 9, the results are consistently lethal. No underpenetration, no fragmentation issues, just clean, stable ballistics. In fact, several slow-motion tests reveal reliable jacket retention even when fired from short-barrel pistols, something rare in this price class. Fiocchi uses brass casings and quality primers, which means feeding issues are rare, even in picky pistols. That's more than I can say for some U.S. value brands. It also burns fairly clean, which is a minor but appreciated perk when you're running hundreds of rounds through a subcompact that's already a pain to clean. And then there's what the community says. A Redditor on R Ammo grouped Fiocchi in with PMC, Blazer, and Magtech, saying all good ammo, which is no small compliment when you're talking about economy-tier brands. While the JHP line doesn't get the love of Gold Dot or HST, those who use it know it works. One user even mentioned carrying it for both training and defense because of its performance-to-price ratio. Let's be clear. Fiocchi's not trying to be fancy. This round won't impress at gun counter debates or Instagram flat lays. But when it's loaded in the mag of a carry pistol and pointed at a real-world threat, it shows up and does its job, quietly, consistently, and without excuse. The truth is, you don't need to carry the flashiest box of ammo to be ready. You need something that runs clean, cycles every time, and puts holes where it counts. That's it. A real-world fight doesn't care if your ammo was hand-polished in a lab. It cares if it works when your life depends on it. And every single round in this list has been tested by gel, by shooters, by time. If you're new to carrying or looking to rotate your stash, hopefully this list gives you options you can afford to train with and trust to carry. That's a rare combo these days. If you've used any of these rounds before, or found a budget-friendly gem I didn't mention, drop it in the comments. I read everything and I'm always up for testing more. Hit like if this helped, and subscribe if you want more no BS breakdowns like this. See you in the next one.